It was another busy day for Clint Eastwood. He had just finished wrapping up filming for his latest movie, and he was heading to a charity event in downtown Los Angeles. As usual, his trusted driver, Jack, was behind the wheel. Jack had been Clint's driver for over a year, and although they didn't talk much during their rides, Clint had grown accustomed to Jack's quiet demeanor. Jack was always on time, always polite, and always professional. But on this particular day, Clint noticed something unusual. As they were stuck in traffic, Clint noticed that Jack seemed to be distracted. His eyes weren't focused on the road the way they usually were, and his hands gripped the steering wheel a little too tightly. Clint raised an eyebrow, but didn't say anything at first. After a few moments of silence, he finally spoke up. "You all right, Jack?" Clint asked, his voice calm but curious. Jack glanced at Clint quickly before looking back at the road. "Yeah, Mr. Eastwood, I'm fine. Just a little tired, that's all." But Clint could see the weariness in Jack's face. It wasn't like him to seem so out of sorts. Something was off, and Clint wasn't going to ignore it. *, where are you watching this story unfold? Let us know in the comments below, *. The traffic cleared up, and Clint's mind kept drifting back to Jack's strange behavior. As they approached the charity event, Clint decided to ask more questions. "Jack, you sure everything's okay? You've been working with me for a while, and you've always seemed, well, like you had it all together." Jack hesitated for a moment, clearly not wanting to reveal too much. After a brief pause, he spoke softly. "It's just, well, things haven't been easy lately. I've been having some personal problems. But it's nothing to worry about, Mr. Eastwood. I'll be fine." Clint could tell that Jack wasn't being completely honest, but he also understood that sometimes people didn't want to share their struggles. He decided to let it go for now, but as Clint stepped out of the car, he couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was going on with Jack. He made a mental note to check in with him again soon. *, what do you think is going on with Jack? Let us know in the comments below, *. A few days later, Clint was back in Los Angeles for another filming session. This time, he didn't need a ride, but he decided to swing by Jack's usual pickup spot to see if he was okay. He wanted to check on Jack, but when he arrived, he noticed something that made his stomach drop. Jack's car was parked at the curb, but there was no sign of him. As Clint looked around, he saw Jack sitting on a nearby bench, his head lowered and his shoulders slumped. He was wearing the same clothes as the day before, clothes that looked worn out and frayed. Clint's heart sank as he approached. He knew something was wrong. "Jack?" Clint called softly. Jack looked up in surprise, his face filled with a mix of embarrassment and shame. "Mr. Eastwood," he said, standing quickly as if trying to hide something. "I didn't expect to see you here." Clint could see that Jack was struggling to hold back tears. He immediately knew that something was seriously wrong. "What's going on, Jack?" Clint asked gently. "You don't have to hide it from me." Jack took a deep breath before finally speaking. I've been living in my car for the past few weeks," Jack confessed, his voice shaking. "I lost my apartment a while ago, and things have just spiraled. I've been doing my best to keep up appearances, but it's been tough." Clint was taken aback. He had no idea Jack was going through something so difficult. *, how would you feel if you were in Clint's shoes? Let us know in the comments below, *. Clint didn't say a word at first. He just stood there, taking in Jack's words. It was hard to imagine someone like Jack, who had always seemed so composed, struggling so deeply. Clint felt a pang of sympathy and knew that he had to help. He stepped forward and placed a hand on Jack's shoulder. "Jack, I had no idea. But you don't have to go through this alone. I'm here for you, and I'm not going to just turn my back on you." Jack shook his head, his eyes welling up. I don't want to be a burden, Mr. Eastwood. I'm just trying to make it through the day, you know? Clint gave Jack a firm, reassuring look. You're not a burden. You've been nothing but loyal and hardworking for me, and I'm not going to let you suffer like this. With that, Clint made a decision. You're coming with me. I'll make sure you're taken care of. You don't need to worry about your car or your living situation anymore. Jack looked at Clint, wide-eyed. What are you talking about? Clint smiled softly. I've got the means to help. I'm going to arrange for you to stay in a proper home, and I'll take care of whatever you need to get back on your feet. You've been there for me when I needed you, and now it's my turn to do the same. What do you think Jack's reaction will be to Clint's offer? Let us know in the comments below. A few weeks later, Clint followed through on his promise. He arranged for Jack to have a comfortable apartment, paid for by Clint's personal funds, and made sure Jack had everything he needed to get back on his feet. Clint didn't stop there. He also helped Jack find a new job, one that was closer to home, so he wouldn't have to worry about the long commute. Jack was overwhelmed by Clint's generosity. He never expected someone as famous as Clint Eastwood to care so much about his well-being. I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Eastwood, Jack said, tears in his eyes. This is more than I could have ever hoped for. I didn't deserve this. Clint smiled warmly. You don't need to thank me, Jack. You're a good man, and you deserve a second chance. Over time, Jack was able to get back on his feet and eventually even saved enough money to buy a small house. He would never forget what Clint had done for him, and he vowed to pay it forward one day. Clint's simple act of kindness had changed his life forever. If you were touched by this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more heartwarming stories like this one. Let me know if you need more stories.